Welcome back to another edition of the weekly Raiderland Roundtable. It's Blame Canada Week. It's also, we all have shoulder area injuries, but none of us are going to tell you exactly what or where. Clint Stevenson, our poet laureate, David Collier, Red Raider Nation, Channel 28, and you know Travis Cram. He likes baseball. All right, let's get it out of the way, guys. Pat Mahomes, playing this week against Kansas State or not?
No. Why would he at this point?
Yeah.
No. I mean, that's pretty simple, right?
On this, right?
No.
If the coach comes out and says he's day-to-day, then he's not
It'd be
playing.
almost criminal to put him out there hurt behind this offensive line right now.
And with this defensive front that he's going to be facing in Kansas State at the same
and
time.
we'll get to that matchup here in a second. All right, Clint, what about you? Now, if you were Pat Mahomes, would you go out there in your current condition?
Yes. Absolutely not. No, not at all.
Yeah, all right, so we all agree it's going to be Nick, and I look for a vastly different style of defense attacking him. I think Kansas State's going to bring the house early. I think they're going to take away the underneath routes that were there against Kansas, and it is going to be dial a blitz time. What do you guys see this game playing out X's and O's?
Well, you said it right there. My biggest concern is the fact that everybody was excited with the way Nick played against Kansas, and this is not going to be Kansas. This Kansas State team held Stanford. Maybe not Stanford of years past, but still has a Heisman
got a guy named
Trophy
McCaffrey.
70 yards in the second half. Total offense, 70 yards, and one play was 40-plus yards. So one play in the second half and the rest, 29 yards, I believe, of offense, the whole second half for Stanford. That kind of scares me. I know the Red Raiders' offense a little bit more high-powered than Stanford, but if they're doing that on the road in the season opener against the Cardinal, it kind of scares me what to think the Red Raiders might have trouble doing against them this weekend.
What about you, Travis?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I think it's one thing we know about a Bill Snyder defense is that they force you to play their style, and that's what their defense is good at. They shut out West Virginia in the first half. They lost that game by 1, but they shut them down in the first half completely, and that was a West Virginia offense that was averaging 35 or more a game coming in there. And so what Shimanek and them have not seen is this aggressive style, and that's led by Elijah Lee at the linebacking position. He had 14 tackles against West Virginia. He's got 4 picks on the season, so you don't just have to worry about what he brings pressure-wise from the outside or through the gaps. You're going to have to worry about what he does when he drops back in coverage, and that's going to, like you said, take out a lot of those short crossing routes that Tech really relies on to get behind the defense. I don't think K-State's going to allow him to do that.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. This is all going to be about the offensive line, I think, and what they can make Nick comfortable with, and can they get a run game going and do some things there. If they don't, man, it's going to be hard to put the hay in the barn, as Spike Dykes used to say. And if you've ever tried to put hay in a barn in Kansas, you know how difficult that can be. All right, Kansas State head coach, Bill Snyder. He's somewhere between 76 and 140. Right. You're our resident expert on Jedis, gnomes, and immortality. Right. Is it possible that Bill Snyder's actually not a mere mortal?
I don't think he is, and I think he's probably older than 140. In fact, I think he might be dead, but he's still doing a really good job.
I mean, we go Old Testament years, and it's entirely possible.
Well, yeah, and his wife could be pregnant too, but I mean, I have no idea how that's going. I really don't know. It's I was feeling good about the game until I listened to you all talk. Now I'm nervous about an old dead guy with his team.
Anybody think if Tech can get to 35, that might be enough to win?
No, I don't know. 38 maybe, but I don't see them getting to 38. Last time in Manhattan, I think they had 14, 13, something along those lines.
13. They haven't scored more than 24 since 2008, man.
And that was a pretty good team back in 2008 from what I hear.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk Texas OU. Bottom line, Charlie Strong fighting for his job. Every indication last week was no, he couldn't be fired. Even at the end of the season now, it could be the Walking Dead there in Austin. What happens?
Unfortunately, for my sake, I think that Texas could win this game, and Charlie Strong's still going to get canned.
And prolong the agony.
I don't think it matters what happens this weekend at the Cotton Bowl. I think Charlie Strong's days are numbered there in Austin, and maybe they send him out with a victory against Oklahoma and, for whatever reason, somehow beat the Sooners for a second straight year there.
I mean, we didn't think it was going to happen last year, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And somehow it did and saved his job for one more season.
True.
So it does all hinge on this, I think. I think Collier's dead on. I think Texas might find a way to win. But did we really all think this was going to last more than 2 or 3 years, to be honest. I mean, with all
I
the
did.
turmoil in the upper
I did.
positions of the athletic department, I don't know if it was going to.
I
even
thought he
if
was
they
going to
did
be
win
the
a
right
title.
guy. I really did. I thought he could be a culture guy. I thought he could get defense going in this league a little bit, and that they'd find some offense. 50,000 plus students, someone can throw a football. I really thought he would win.
But I think
Or do better.
the unfortunate position he is in is a lot like a lot of coaches in this country. You don't get that 4 or 5 years anymore to prove
No.
yourself. He had a spectacular recruiting day in February, and he may never get to coach most of those guys because of
Their
what's
problem is
happening.
he's stinking at things he ought to be good at. Their defense stinks, he ought to be good at that. Special teams, that's all coaching, that's all personnel. You got to be good at that or you get fired. The winner of the Red River Rivalry every year gets presented with a golden hat. In this day and age, is it socially acceptable to make grown men wear a golden hat? And have you, or are you wearing one right now?
You know what I think is neat is that not only do you give me questions that match my intellect, unlike all the rest of you, I'm not allowed to touch a microphone, so that's best for all of us. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to wear a golden hat next week. I think it's acceptable. Yeah, I think it is.
We're going to find
I think we should. I want a golden hat.
All right, we need a golden hat sponsor, so if anybody wants to step up here in Raiderland. Finally, let's go outside the realm of Big 12 and into Major League Baseball. The playoffs are upon us. Can you be friends with anyone from Canada? Do you actually know anyone from Canada?
I do, as a matter of fact. I was thinking about that when you brought the question up. And I know a lady named Stacy. She's a barrel racer, She's about to have a baby. She's hot. And she's married,
Yeah.
not to me.
Right.
So it's not my baby.
As far as we know.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so we can be friends with them, I think.
If they're hot.
If now, see, I've got to make up some yardage here. Hotness doesn't matter. Everyone needs love. So, and plus they make the. Have you ever had poutine?
Pardon?
Exactly. It's French fries with like gravy and cheese curds.
Oh,
on it.
okay.
Canadians make that. It's like they're not.
More a back bacon kind of guy.
So if they make that food and they look like Stacy, yes, you can be friends with a Canadian.
Who gets plunked? Who gets dotted right off the bat in this series? I don't know what happened there. Is that even legal? I don't know. You said poutine.
I picked the Rangers and Cubs from the beginning of the season before it started, so that's who I'm going with. I can't be friends with Canadians either.
Yeah.
I have hated the Blue Jays and their fans since last season.
We're building the wall in the wrong part of the country.
I agree. Can we build it north? Because I would love to block every one of them out of here. What else is going on? The Giants could win because it's an even year. I think that's the only
exactly
prediction
that's
I
their
have.
deal.
I think the only thing that could make this series better if Jose Bautista during the national anthem takes a knee. That's all you have.
Things will get out of control. We'll be lucky to live through this. All right, that's the Raiderland podcast and roundtable and Lord knows what else this week. Comments, questions, insults down at the bottom. Just leave yours, and if you've been offended, get in line.